Welcome to Web Manga. I am Adrian Manga, and I just have to mention that, yes, in my last video I said I was only going to be doing Record of Ragnarok, One Punch Man, and Black Clover content, but I just have to mention this because my favorite movie of all time, which is Pacific Rim, I don't know why, it's just one of my favorite movies of all time, is getting an anime, and also it looks amazing. This anime looks amazing, and it's an anime in the same vein as the animated Godzilla movies were an anime. It's not in the same style, but the CG looks pretty good, and I just really like it. Like in this, I'm gonna go through my feelings about Pacific Rim and how also the sequel, Pacific Rim Uprising, which I didn't like as much as the original. It's not a bad movie, it's just a bad Pacific Rim movie, because I'll tell you why I love Pacific Rim. Like, the first Pacific Rim, it sets everything up. It's in the beginning, like, you know everything about this world. Yeah, everything's sorted. It's our world, but there are monsters attacking us, and just humanity had to fight back. And eventually it led to giant robots just punching giant monsters, and I love that. And it drops you in the middle of the war, not the beginning, and well, it does happen at the end of the war, but I just love the original Pacific Rim movie. It's my favorite movie of all time. I love the kaiju designs, I love the Jaeger designs. The whole movie it's simple, it works, and I love the director. I forget his name, but he is a very good director. He knows how to design monsters, and he knows how to make things look good. And my favorite part of the whole movie, my favorite thing of Pacific Rim, is the scale. Like, you definitely feel, like, with lack of a better word, these robots are realistic. Like, you feel, and these kaiju are realistic, because whenever you feel them attack something, it makes you feel like that. Like, it's slow, but it's fast at the same time. Fights are slow, but at the same time, just at the right speed. They're slow enough to make it feel like, yeah, it's big and hulking and it'll take time, but it's also not too slow to make it feel just useless. But I don't like the second one because it got rid of that scale, like the sheer might of, like, the sheer size and sheer power. I get it, they've been upgraded, but they don't set it very well. In this one, it looks like it does work. And plus, they bring in concepts like, this Pacific Rim Black is based in Australia, which, if you don't know, I live in Australia, and I'm just loving that. It's amazing. It has my home country, because in, like, normal media, it's either America or Japan is the only real media I get. It's either in those two places or in made-up countries. But it's very rare to have my home place of Australia, unless you got Doom Eternal, in case those demons don't want to screw with that place. I'll have, like, a screenshot of the map of Doom Eternal, and I just love it, how many jokes about how Australia is dangerous enough to make sure demons don't want to go there. I just love memes about Australia. But this is a good series. It's got, like, two siblings, which we have seen that are very drift compatible, and plus it's not like their parents seem to be both Jaeger pilots who left to fight against these kaiju. The continent has basically fallen to the kaiju. We see small kaiju. There's this child that I feel like is maybe one of the precursors. I think that's what they're called, like the bug guys who make the kaiju. Maybe this guy's like an experiment of the precursors, like take a human child, or maybe clone a human child, maybe put them into humanity to try to wipe the rest of us out. I thought maybe that, because he seems a little bit stronger, and he was also on the top of Atlas Destroyer, which is the new Jaeger, and this This new Jaeger looks awesome. The colors seem a little bright to me. That's the only real problem I have with this Jaeger. It's a modern Jaeger that doesn't look like too slim. That's another problem I had with some of the Jaeger designs in like Uprising, because they seemed way too slim. This one, it seems more bulky. That's like Gypsy Avenger and like the sword chick looking Jaeger, and also I think it was November something or other, I can't remember its name. It was definitely December, November, one of those ones. And they were way too thin, I'd have to say. They were, and I get it, it's been like years since the Kaiju attacked, but it just feels like these Jaegers, like they're not thinking about the war with Kaiju, but definitely they don't feel big and bulky. Like this Jaeger, it feels like it could be in a battle. It feels like it fits in Pacific Rim, unlike those Jaegers that just look like generic robots. And I like how, like, in this series, they do show that these people the two main characters, the siblings, aren't getting along because it's basically been years and their parents just haven't come back. And there's a lot of stuff that very interests me in this series. I don't care if it's dog shit, because this one alone brings up a whole lot of stuff, like small kaiju, basically, well, small compared to regular kaiju. These kaiju are like dogs and they chase after you, but they're bigger than a human being, but not that much bigger. And I love that idea, like, after like the big kaiju attack, then the small dogs show up. Like they send in smaller kaiju to deal with them, like the stragglers, and I just love that concept. And plus, the breaches don't seem to be underwater anymore. They seem to be on land, and I love that concept, because always, like most kaiju aquatic based, and if they can get portals on land, and even like the Precursor's home world seems like underwater, I love that. But they have to make kaiju more built for land, but still kaiju are aquatic creatures, so they are most adept on land, in the water. I've always found that makes the most sense, and that's where most of the battles take place, in kaiju's home turf. But I just love that the kaiju are just coming on land and attacking us. It seems like there are still breaches, like in solid spots, that they can't like just move them around anywhere, but they can still open them up. And plus, if it's just Australia, I want to see the rest of the world. Like, if they're able to make breaches on Australia, where else in the world could they have made like breaches? Maybe like in Russia, Africa, America. I need, like, this concept is amazing. Like, the Kaiju War has restarted. Like, the Kaiju have already taken Australia. We don't know how long it's been after Uprising. I'm definitely saying it's been after Uprising, because it's been, like, Uprising, Kaiju were gone for like a few years, then they came back, and it seems like it's been a significant jump in time. And plus, I love the AI in Atlas Destroyer, because she's the perfect middle ground between very sassy and very, like, she's smarter than the other AI we've seen in this series, but she's like sassy and funny. Like, my favorite line of the whole trailer is like, hello, you Jaeger recruit, why didn't you use the front door? And she says, shortcut. And then she says, why didn't you use the ladder? And then the girl says, shorter cut. Because I just love it. It's like this one, I love it. This AI just makes it, I feel like she's going to be like the mother figure. I'm fine with that if she's the mother figure of this, like, of these two, because their parents have been gone for years, and they do seem like they have a little bit of a strained relationship. I can see why the guy is kind of like, I understand, like, why the guy and the girl, like, they've just been sitting there waiting for their parents to come back, and their parents are clearly Jaeger pilots, and I think that maybe some people are still maybe working for the Precursors in Kaiju, because in this trailer, we see like a guy giving like a bad grin to like Atlas Destroyer. I'm getting used to this new name, and I love Atlas Destroyer. It's a cool name, and all the Jaeger names are cool. Crimson Typhoon, Gypsy Danger, Striker Eureka, Colonel Alpha. I love those names. They are awesome. They're all memorable. They're all cool. Second one, not as memorable. The only one I can remember is Gypsy Avenger, but I like that. I like all the original Jaegers. Second one movie, it's a good robot punching monster movie. It just doesn't have the same hit as the original. This one looks like these kids are just going to be taking the Jaeger and just walking around taking down kaiju, trying to find like civilization, finding people. And I got like a few questions about this Jaeger. Like, we've seen that they need a whole Shatter Dome just to like fix a Jaeger if it's gotten damaged. I just want to like, clearly they find people up. Like we see like in one scene where like a bunch of people are in the background with guns. I'm guessing they're a part of the Pan-Pacific Defense Corps. I just think that they're going to be like, they're going to find a group of people, they're going to work together, and like after a while the Jaeger gets damaged and needs to be repaired because I don't think these two people are going to be able to keep this Jaeger up and running. And we see definitely a bunch of kaiju that definitely look like they fit as a kaiju that you could see in any of the movies, but they definitely have a CGI element. And then there's this one scene that I have a question about. Like there's these orbs with like a kaiju-esque design to them. Like they have the lines of the kaiju all over these orbs, and that is what makes me think that people are working with the precursors, and which really is a question mark. Like, why would these people betray their humanity if they're just going to be wiped out? Maybe they're going to modify people to survive. Maybe people are going to be like, I'll sell out the rest of humanity if I get to live. Like, I'm definitely seeing that people are going to go along those lines. And I want to see this. It looks so good. And I heard this is not... It's... Like, Pacific Rim had a very low chance, I'd have to say, to be a good movie. Like, people probably just think that I heard that people just complain it's like adult Power Rangers, and if it's... I don't really see any problem with adult Power Rangers. Like, as a kid, Power Rangers was a pretty good show, although I got Samurai and Mega Force, which... Re-watching them a little older, those were kind of the shit ones. A few seasons after that, those were good ones, and even looking at the older Power Rangers, I noticed that the ones I got were pretty shit. But I love Pacific Rim. It's my favorite movie, and this really works. It looks like it's on the right path, and these people are really know what they're doing with this series, and I really can't wait. I'm not going to be making reviews on it. I'm just going to probably be mentioning stuff that happens in the movies. I mean, in the series, because like another movie, it didn't seem like it fit, and plus Pacific Rim, when it ended, it kind of perfectly ended. Everything was defeated, but there was also like this loose thread. Second movie, not that good, but this one definitely seems like it's back on track. Like Gypsy Avenger, Atlas Destroyer. I'm going to learn this name. I am sorry. I'm keeping in all of the times I fail the name because it's like a punishment for myself. Like, hey, if people are going to laugh at you, learn this name. That is what I'm going to do. And that's it. Lots of concepts really fascinate me. Like, this is like a proper invasion. Like, the first part of the Kaiju War, very interesting. Like, it took a lot of years. It was very cool concept. Like, I wish we could have seen more. And like, even like the opening thing of Pacific Rim. It showed like how people reacted, how the culture, how people's thoughts on the things happened, how it was a very good way to build up the world. And now we can like have like after Uprising where the kaiju have come back and this is now a full-scale war. Like everywhere is under attack. Like other places don't have to fall, but Australia has fallen to the kaiju. Like probably there is, like if people haven't left, they are probably being hunted down by the kaiju. And some of the kaiju are probably just leaving and just going out, attacking other places. Like, they're just... And plus, there was this other thing that when the dog kaiju were chasing after the female main character, I don't know their names. I'll have to look it up, but when the dog kaiju was chasing after one of the main characters, the dog jumps up, tries to eat the girl. A big hand grabs it and crushes it. I think that might be a Jaeger, but I don't know. It looks kind of like a kaiju, but I think it's a Jaeger. Maybe maybe it's another smart Jaeger. Maybe it's programmed to deal with kaiju. I don't know. Maybe it is like a rogue pilot. It just gives me the feeling of a Jaeger, not a kaiju. Like the colors, like we don't see red on kaiju. We only see blue, green, and blacks. Like, those are the only things we see of a kaiju. Although we do see one kaiju in the trailer that does have a red color, have a red glow. But it's not the same. It's a hard red, and it looks more like a Jaeger hand. And that's it. That's all I need to mention about it. But this series looks like it's getting Pacific Rim back on track. Uprising, an okay movie, terrible sequel, but I still say Pacific Rim is my favorite movie. Doesn't matter. Right, for me, I kind of blocked out. I thought, ooh, kaiju are coming back. I blocked out the rest of the movie, all the other stuff. Uprising did have some good stuff, like one of the main scientists like betraying humanity with the drift, and that made total sense. Hive Mind and Fest, that made total sense to me. And a whole bunch of stuff in Uprising was cool, but it's just like none of it really was fleshed out. That was my problem with that movie, and this looks like it's giving possibilities. Like, I always thought, what about small, like, kaiju? Could they exist? Or, like, my favorite possibility in this movie, like, kaiju-human hybrids with, like, this small child. I think he might be a kaiju-human hybrid. Like, hide in humanity, and then, like, wipe out small pockets of humanity. Like, if humanity is allowed to get a foothold, they can still fight back against the kaiju. If you, like, get small kaijus that look like humans, hide and, like, wipe out small settlements, that is really smart. That is what I think is going on. I might be completely wrong, and I'm really interested in this, but I might be completely wrong. And that's my thoughts on this trailer, and my thoughts on this series, Pacific Rim: The Black. Australia, my home country, which I'm really interested in. So many cool concepts just in this trailer alone. I love this trailer. And that is it. If you guys have any thoughts about this trailer, I'm going to have the link to the trailer down below, just so you can watch it. In fact, I'll have like the trailer for the original Pacific Rim. Like, Pacific Rim has always had good trailers. Like, the first one, it's the best trailer of all time. I even have it like on a playlist for me, just like if I ever want to be like hyped up, I just put it on because Pacific Rim's trailer is perfect. And that's it. This is Web Manga, Agent Manga, signing out.